Hello everybody and welcome back to Jay's virtual pub quiz for today's specialist quiz. It's all about history today. It's a ground that you guys have been crying out for, and I've kind of resisted putting it into the Thursday and Saturday quizzes just because, the live ones, just because history is always a bit divisive and it can be a little bit trickier. So as I discussed, or by the time this goes out, we'll have discussed on Saturday about what we're going to do with the specialist quizzes. On the Sunday specialist quiz, we're going to keep it for things like this. So these are the slightly trickier rounds so that we can keep the main quizzes as open as possible. This is their new home for them. So we've got history today. We did people and places last week, and we've got to have some all sorts of different ones. Just a bit trickier, just a little bit harder than what you'd find on the normal live quizzes, but just as challenging. So today I've got 20 questions on history, and they go through all different ranges, mainly UK history, but there's a few bits in there for others people as well. So yeah, and don't forget, these are pre-recorded, so if it's going a little bit too fast for you, you can pause the video after each question if you wanted to. And obviously, as always with our specialist quizzes, we'll give you the answers at the end of the video. So you'll have, but I'll give you a warning before we do that, so you'll have plenty of time to get your answers and make sure that you're ready to go. So 20 questions then. Let's get into this. Let's start then with question number 1. So despite destroying nearly 13,200 homes and 87 parish churches, which disaster incredibly only officially registered 6 deaths? So despite destroying nearly 13,200 homes and 87 parish churches, which disaster incredibly only officially registered 6 deaths? Question number 2. How many of Henry VIII's children became monarchs? So how many of Henry VIII's children became monarchs? Question 3. Which 2 kingdoms fought in the Battle of Stamford Bridge? So which 2 kingdoms fought in the Battle of Stamford Bridge? Question 4. Marie Curie discovered radium and polonium, but what did she name polonium after? So Marie Curie discovered radium and polonium, but what did she name polonium after? Number 5. How many British monarchs have celebrated Diamond Jubilees? So how many British monarchs have celebrated Diamond Jubilees? Question 6. Who led the Roman invasion of Britain in 55 BC? So who led the Roman invasion of Britain in 55 BC? Question 7. The current St Paul's Cathedral was built in which year? 1575, 1675 or 1775? So the current St Paul's Cathedral was built in which year? 1575, 1675 or 1775? Number 8. In World War II, the United Kingdom. World War II, the United Kingdom declared war on Germany on what date? So in World War II, the United Kingdom declared war on Germany on what date? Number 9. When was the last person executed at the Tower of London? Was it 1741, 1841 or 1941? So question 9. When was the last person executed at the Tower of London? 1741, 1841 or 1941? Number 10. What important document was signed at Runnymede in 1215? So what important document was signed at Runnymede in 1215? Number 11. Who sculptured the statue David? So who sculptured the statue David? Number 12. Who did Algeria gain independence from? So who did Algeria gain independence from? Question 13. Of the 3 astronauts that went to the moon on Apollo 11, who didn't walk on the moon? So of the 3 astronauts who went to the moon on Apollo 11, who didn't walk on the moon? Which came first? Sorry, this is question 14. Which came first? Triassic, Jurassic, or Cretaceous period? So which came first? The Triassic, the Jurassic, or the Cretaceous period? Number 15. Who was assassinated at the Ford's Theatre in 1865? So who was assassinated at the Ford's Theatre in 1865? Number 16. Amelia Earhart set off on a solo transatlantic flight from which Canadian province? So Amelia Earhart set off on a solo transatlantic flight from which Canadian province? Number 17. Also in this area, what was the name of the ship that sunk not too far from the place in the previous question in 1912? So also in the area of the previous question, what was the name of the ship that sunk not too far in 1912? Number 18. Which prehistoric monument would you find in Wiltshire? So which prehistoric monument would you find in Wiltshire? Number 19. What was the previous name of the building now named the Elizabeth Tower? So what was the previous name of the building that's now named the Elizabeth Tower? And your final question, number 20. Which year did the major fire at Windsor Castle take place? Which year did the major fire at Windsor Castle take place? Okay, so that is your 20 history questions for today. Now, if you need to go back and have a look at any of them, you can rewind, you can go and find the ones that you might be missing. So take your time. Obviously, we will give you the answers shortly. But if you're waiting for that, all you need to do, if you need a bit more time, is just pause the video now. And welcome back. So hopefully you've got all your answers ready to go. And you're keen to know how many of these you've got out of 20. Let's let you know them. Here we go, number one. So number one, despite destroying nearly 13,200 homes and 87 parish churches, which disaster, incredibly, only officially registered 6 deaths. It's the Great Fire of London. That shocked me as well. Only 6 officially registered deaths despite all that destruction. Number two, how many of Henry VIII's children became monarchs? There's 3 of them. So Edward VI, Mary I, and Elizabeth I. You didn't need to name them, but I'm just letting you know. So 3 is the answer we were looking for. Number 3, which 2 kingdoms fought in the Battle of Stamford Bridge? Now, you need both of them for the point, because one of them should be obvious, which is England, and the second one was Norway. So it's the kingdoms of England and Norway. Both of those needed for the point. Number 4, Marie Curie discovered radium and polonium, but what did she name polonium after? It was her native Poland. Number 5, how many British monarchs have celebrated Diamond Jubilees? There's been 2. So Queen Elizabeth II, obviously, and Queen Victoria. Number 6, who led the Roman invasion of Britain in 55 BC? That was Julius Caesar. Number 7, the current St Paul's Cathedral was built in which year? It was 1675. Number 8, in World War II, the United Kingdom declared war on Germany on what date? It was the 3rd of September 1939. You could have half a point if you got September. Number 9, when was the last person executed at the Tower of London? It was 1941. It was Joseph Jacobs, and he was guilty of spying for Nazi Germany. Number 10, what important document was signed at Runnymede in 1215? That was the Magna Carta. Number 11, who sculptured the statue David? It was Michelangelo. Michelangelo's David. Number 12, who did Algeria gain independence from? That was France. Number 13, of the 3 astronauts who went to the moon on Apollo 11, who didn't walk on the moon? That was Michael Collins. Number 14, which came first, the Triassic, Jurassic or Cretaceous period? That's the Triassic period. Number 15, who was assassinated at the Ford's Theatre in 1865? Abraham Lincoln. Number 16, Amelia Earhart set off on her solo transatlantic flight from which Canadian province? It was Newfoundland. Which leads us on to 17. Also in Newfoundland, or near Newfoundland, what was the name of the ship that sunk not too far from the place in the previous question, which we now know is Newfoundland, in 1912? It was, of course, Titanic. Number 18, which prehistoric monument would you find in Wiltshire? It is Stonehenge. Number 19, what was the previous name of the building now named the Elizabeth Tower? It is the Clock Tower. Not Big Ben. Big Ben is the bell. So it's the Clock Tower is the answer we were looking for. And finally, number 20, in what year did the major fire at Windsor Castle take place? It was 1992. There we go. And that is it. That is your history quiz for today. So how have you got on? Let us know across social media. It's just there on the bottom. Hashtag Jay's Virtual Pub Quiz. Let us know. Let us know even on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Let us know how you've got along, or obviously in the comments down below. Let us know how you did out of 20. Not decided what we're going to do for next Sunday, but it'll be something, again, similar along these lines. More keep the entertainment-y and TV and stuff for Friday nights, and we'll do more stuff like this on a Sunday. So if you've got any great ideas, again, put them in the comments or let us know across social media. If you are new around here as well, please do think about subscribing, because we do these all the time. We've got specialist quizzes Friday and Sunday, kids quiz on Monday, uploads, and don't forget the big live quizzes on Thursday and Saturday nights. Thank you as always for your support, your messages and everything. It's really, really appreciated. And as we've said before, we're just going to keep on going. So that's it from me. All I've got left to say, there we go. All I've got left to say is stay safe and I'll see you soon.